In Manhattan, where skyscrapers mirror wealth and power, Alexander Mitchell, a 45-year-old real estate mogul, built his empire from scratch. His office on the 85th floor of Mitchell Tower stands as a symbol of his success, but also of his loneliness. After losing his parents in an accident as a child and being separated from his younger sister in the foster care system, Alex dedicated his life to building walls around himself, both literally and emotionally. When a new cleaner, Sarah Collins, starts working in his office, small details begin to awaken long-buried memories. What starts as a simple professional relationship is about to transform into a journey of discovery, secrets, and unexpected revenge that will change their lives forever. Alexander Mitchell's morning routine was as precise as his business deals. Every day at 7 a.m., he'd enter Mitchell Tower, barely acknowledging the security guards who nervously nodded at his presence. His Italian shoes echoed through the marble lobby as he made his way to his private elevator. But this Monday was different. As the elevator doors opened on the 85th floor, he found a woman in her early 40s cleaning his office windows. Her reflection in the glass showed a face weathered by hardship, but maintaining a quiet dignity. Sarah Collins, the new cleaner, turned around startled. "I'm sorry, Mr. Mitchell. I was told to finish before office hours." Something about her voice made him pause. Her green eyes, so similar to his mother's, triggered a distant memory he couldn't quite grasp. Alex shook off the feeling and walked to his desk, trying to focus on the upcoming merger meeting. Throughout the morning, he caught himself watching Sarah work. She had a small birthmark behind her right ear, just like his sister Emma had, but Emma had disappeared into the foster care system 35 years ago, despite his desperate attempts to find her. What Alex didn't notice was Sarah's careful observation of him. Behind her humble demeanor, her eyes tracked his every move, studying the family photos on his desk, particularly the old one of two children, a boy and a girl, standing in front of a Christmas tree. Her hands trembled slightly as she dusted that frame, a mix of emotions crossing her face when Alex wasn't looking. Over the next few weeks, Sarah became a silent fixture in Alex's office life. Unlike other cleaners, she worked with meticulous precision. Almost as if she had an ulterior motive for staying longer in his presence, she'd carefully dust the awards on his walls, testament to his rise from foster care to fortune. One morning, Alex overheard Sarah on the phone in the hallway, her voice tense and urgent. "Yes, I'm getting closer. He doesn't suspect anything. After what his family did to ours, he needs to know the truth." She quickly hung up when she noticed his presence. That conversation sparked Alex's suspicion. He quietly instructed his head of security to run a background check on Sarah Collins. Something wasn't adding up. Her paperwork showed she'd only existed on paper for the past decade. Meanwhile, Sarah was conducting her own investigation. During lunch breaks, she'd slip into the building's records room, searching through old documents about the Mitchell family's real estate acquisitions from the 1980s. Her hands shook as she uncovered papers, showing how the original Mitchell Corporation, under Alex's uncle's leadership, had systematically destroyed dozens of families through fraudulent property schemes. One document made her pause, a property deed from 1988, showing the foreclosure of a house belonging to the Collins family. On the back was a handwritten note, "Deal with the witnesses, permanently." Sarah's eyes hardened. She wasn't just Alex's lost sister Emma. She was someone seeking justice for a crime that had torn apart more than just their family. The truth began unraveling during a late-night thunderstorm. Alex was working late, reviewing merger documents when the power flickered. In the dim emergency lighting, he spotted Sarah in his office, not cleaning but accessing his computer. "Step away from my desk," his voice cut through the darkness. Sarah didn't flinch. Instead, she turned the monitor toward him. On screen was a scanned newspaper article from 1988. "Mitchell Estate Fire Claims Lives of Prominent Couple. Young Children Separated in System." "You're not the only one who lost everything that night, Alexander." Sarah's voice trembled. "But unlike you, I learned the truth. The fire wasn't an accident." Alex's world tilted. "What are you talking about? Your beloved uncle, the man who saved you from foster care, he orchestrated our parents' murder." Sarah pulled out an old locket, identical to the one in the Christmas photo on his desk. "Hello, big brother." But before Alex could process this revelation, Sarah dropped another bombshell. "And that's not all. The Mitchell fortune? It's built on the blood of dozens of families, including the ones who adopted me, the Collins family." Your uncle foreclosed their home, drove them to bankruptcy, and when they threatened to expose his schemes, her voice broke. Let's just say I lost 2 sets of parents to the Mitchell name. Alex stared at his sister, a stranger seeking both reunion and revenge, as lightning illuminated the hatred and love warring in her eyes. Alex collapsed into his chair, his world shattering. Emma, he whispered, using her birth name. Emma's hands clenched into fists, tears streaming down her face. The storm outside intensified, matching the turbulent emotions in the room. Years of searching only to find his sister wanted revenge. I've spent years tracking every dirty deal, every family destroyed, Sarah revealed, pulling out a USB drive. Your uncle didn't just kill our parents. He built this empire by systematically eliminating anyone who stood in his way. And you, she laughed bitterly, his perfect heir, never questioned where the money came from. Alex's mind raced through years of suspicious business deals, his uncle's mysterious disappearances, and the strange accidents that befell their competitors. The signs had always been there. Tomorrow morning, this evidence goes public, Sarah declared. The Mitchell empire falls. But as she turned to leave, Alex grabbed her arm. Wait, Uncle Richard died last month. Sarah froze. What? Heart attack in his sleep. I inherited everything, including... Alex rushed to his safe, hands shaking as he entered the combination. Including this. He pulled out a leather-bound journal. I haven't opened it yet. His lawyer said to destroy it, but something felt wrong. Sarah approached cautiously, their parents' locket swinging from her neck. As they opened the journal together, a photograph fell out. Their parents, smiling, holding baby Emma, while young Alex beamed at the camera. On the back, in Richard Mitchell's handwriting, "Forgive me, the truth must die with me." The siblings sat on opposite ends of Alex's office, Richard's journal between them like a ticking bomb. Each page revealed darker secrets, detailed accounts of money laundering, orchestrated accidents, and a conspiracy larger than either had imagined. Listen to this, Alex's voice shook. James and Marie Mitchell were becoming a problem. Their charitable foundation was tracking missing funds. They had to be eliminated, but the children... That's about our parents, Emma. Don't call me that, Sarah snapped, but her voice lacked its earlier venom. That girl died in foster care. As they read further, they discovered their uncle hadn't acted alone. There was a board of shadow directors, powerful people still active in the company, people who'd helped cover up the murders and continued Richard's corrupt legacy. Thompson, Williams, and Carter, Alex muttered, naming 3 of his most trusted executives. They're all mentioned here. They're still running operations exactly as Uncle Richard did. Suddenly, Sarah's phone buzzed. A text message. Target confirmed in building. Proceed as planned. Her face went pale. Alex, we need to leave now. What? Why? Because I wasn't working alone either, Sarah admitted, grabbing her brother's arm. The children of other families your uncle destroyed. We formed a group. They're coming tonight to take everything down, but they don't know what we just discovered. They think you're just like Richard. The elevator dinged in the distance. The sound of multiple footsteps echoed through the dark corridor. Sarah quickly pulled Alex behind his desk, her cleaning cart providing minimal cover. There are 5 of them, she whispered. Former foster kids like us, but they've lost everything. They won't listen to reason. Alex's mind raced. The evidence in this journal, it could destroy the real perpetrators without taking down innocent employees. Marcus, check the West Wing, a voice commanded from outside. Diana, the conference room. Sarah's phone vibrated again. A message from Diana. Remember the plan. No survivors. The Mitchell line ends tonight. Alex noticed Sarah's hands trembling. You never planned to kill me, did you? I wanted justice, not murder, she admitted. But they've become what they hate. Suddenly, Alex's computer pinged. An email from Thompson. Emergency board meeting called for tomorrow, 8 a.m. All major assets to be liquidated and transferred offshore. They know, Alex realized. The board members are planning to run with everything. The office door creaked open. A laser sight swept the darkness. Wait, Sarah grabbed Alex's arm. The old service elevator, behind your private bathroom. Does it still work? Yes, but the server room is on the 82nd floor. If we can get there, we can stop the asset transfer and expose everything. As they crawled toward the bathroom, Alex grabbed the journal and his phone. Sarah pulled out a security keycard she'd stolen weeks ago. A voice behind them. Check behind the desk. They slipped into the service elevator just as flashlight beams swept across the office. Sarah quickly pressed the button for the 82nd floor, her cleaning uniform now discarded to reveal dark tactical gear underneath. "You came prepared," Alex noted. "I spent months planning this," she replied, checking a small tablet. "But the others, they've been planning it for years. Marcus lost his mother to suicide after Richard's schemes. Diana's father died in prison, framed for embezzlement." The elevator groaned to a stop between floors. "No, no, no." Sarah frantically pressed buttons. "They've overridden the system." Above them, cables creaked ominously. Alex looked up through the elevator's ceiling hatch. "They're trying to drop us." Suddenly, his phone rang. Thompson's number. "Put it on speaker," Sarah whispered. "Mr. Mitchell," Thompson's voice oozed false concern. "Working late. I just received some disturbing security footage. It seems your cleaning lady isn't who she claims to be." "Cut the act, Thompson. We have Richard's journal." A pause. "Ah, well, that complicates things. I assume you're with your sister then? Emma or Sarah or whatever she calls herself now." Sarah grabbed the phone. "The transfer won't work. We're exposing everything." Thompson chuckled. "My dear, why do you think we let you get this close? Your little revenge group was useful in keeping Alex distracted while we prepared. The real transfer happened hours ago." The elevator cables groaned louder. "Goodbye, Mitchell siblings. Like your parents, you should have stayed out of it." The elevator shuddered violently. Alex looked at Sarah, years of lost brotherhood flashing between them. "The maintenance ladder," he shouted, pointing to the elevator's corner. "Can you hack the doors from inside?" Sarah's fingers flew across her tablet. "Maybe, but we've got 2 minutes tops before the cables give." As Sarah worked, Alex called his head of security's personal number. "Jim, override code Mitchell 7 Alpha. Lock down all exits, freeze every account." "Already on it, sir," Jim replied. "I've been tracking suspicious transfers all night. And, sir, there's a SWAT team en route. I called them when I saw the armed intruders." The elevator doors cracked open halfway between floors 83 and 84. Through the gap, they could see Marcus and Diana in the hallway above, weapons ready. "They're trapped in there," Marcus shouted into his radio. "Thompson, finish it." But Sarah smiled, a familiar Mitchell confidence crossing her face. "No, you're trapped here with us." She pressed a final button on her tablet. Suddenly, every screen in the building lit up, broadcasting security footage of Thompson and the board members loading bags into cars earlier that day, intercut with damning clips from the past 3 decades. "I wasn't just cleaning," Sarah explained to Alex. "I've been planting cameras for months. The revenge plan. That was just to flush them out." The elevator groaned again. "Nice plan, sis," Alex said, grabbing her hand. "But we need to move. Now." They heard sirens in the distance as they prepared to climb out. Alex and Sarah emerged from the elevator shaft onto the 84th floor, adrenaline pumping. The hallway was chaos. Marcus and Diana, realizing they'd been manipulated, were now arguing fiercely. "We've been played," Diana shouted, her weapon wavering between Marcus and the Mitchell siblings. Marcus, his face a mask of confusion and rage, turned to Sarah. "You said this was about justice, for all of us." "This is justice," Sarah replied calmly, holding up her tablet. "The truth is out. Not just about the Mitchells, but about everyone involved." Suddenly, the building's emergency system blared to life. "This is the NYPD. The building is surrounded. All occupants, surrender your weapons and exit with your hands up." Alex stepped forward, hands raised. "It's over. The real criminals are exposed. Don't add murder to the list of wrongs done in the name of vengeance." A tense moment passed. Then, slowly, Marcus lowered his gun. Diana, tears streaming down her face, followed suit. As SWAT teams flooded the floor, Alex turned to Sarah. "You risked everything on this plan. Why?" Sarah's tough exterior cracked slightly. "Because I needed to know if you were like them. If the brother I lost was truly gone." Before Alex could respond, Jim, his head of security, approached. "Sir, we've apprehended Thompson and the board members trying to flee. But there's a complication. We found Richard Mitchell's private safe. There's evidence suggesting your parents might still be alive." Alex and Sarah froze, the world tilting on its axis once again. The 85th floor of Mitchell Tower, once a symbol of corporate power, now buzzed with FBI agents. Alex and Sarah sat side by side, shell-shocked, as Jim laid out the contents of Richard Mitchell's hidden safe. "Witness protection documents," Jim explained, sliding over a folder. Dated 2 weeks after the supposed accident. Your parents' signatures, new identities, even recent photos. Sarah's hand trembled as she touched a grainy surveillance photo showing two older individuals who eerily resembled their parents. But why? Why fake their deaths? Alex, his voice hoarse, replied, "They must have discovered something big, something that threatened more than just Uncle Richard's schemes." An FBI agent approached, her face grim. "Mr. Mitchell, Miss Collins, we've decoded more of your uncle's files. It seems the conspiracy goes beyond corporate fraud. We're looking at potential connections to international arms dealing, possibly even government officials involved." The weight of the revelation settled heavily on the siblings. Their parents hadn't abandoned them. They'd been trying to protect them. Sarah stood abruptly. "We need to find them now, before whoever's behind all this realizes we know." Alex nodded, a plan already forming. "Jim, I need the Mitchell jet ready in an hour. Sarah, can you use your skills to track down the last known location from that surveillance photo?" As they prepared to embark on this new, dangerous mission, Alex paused, looking at his long-lost sister. "Emma, Sarah, I know we have a lot to work through, but I'm glad you're here." Sarah managed a small smile. "Let's go find our parents, big brother." 36 hours later, Alex and Sarah found themselves in a small coastal town in Oregon, staring at a quaint blue house with white shutters. The journey had been a whirlwind of encrypted messages, close calls with unknown pursuers, and a growing realization of how deep the conspiracy ran. As they approached the front door, Sarah's hand instinctively reached for her brother's. Alex squeezed it reassuringly, then knocked. Moments passed. Then the door creaked open, revealing a woman in her late 60s. Her once auburn hair was now streaked with grey, but her green eyes, so like Sarah's, widened in shock. "Alex? Emma?" Marie Mitchell's voice trembled. Before anyone could react, a man appeared behind her. James Mitchell, their father, looked as if he'd seen ghosts. How did you find us?" James asked, ushering them inside quickly, checking the street before locking the door. The reunion was a mix of tears, hugs, and rapid-fire questions, but as the initial shock wore off, the gravity of the situation set in. "We never wanted to leave you," Marie explained, her voice breaking. "But what we uncovered, it wasn't just about Richard's corruption. There's a network reaching into the highest levels of government and global corporations." James nodded grimly. "We've spent the last 3 decades gathering evidence, building a case that could bring it all down without being traced back to us. Or you." Suddenly, Sarah's phone buzzed. A message from her hacker contact. "Trap sprung. They're coming." As if on cue, black SUVs screeched to a halt outside. "The safe room," James said, pulling back a rug to reveal a hidden hatch. "Everything we've gathered is down there." As they rushed to the basement, gunshots shattered the windows. Alex and Sarah, drawing on their respective skills in business strategy and covert operations, quickly formulated a plan with their parents. "The evidence needs to go public," Alex declared. "All of it." Sarah nodded, pulling out her tablet. "I can upload it to secure servers, trigger a global release." James hesitated. "Once this is out, there's no going back. Our lives, your lives, will never be the same." Marie took her husband's hand. "We've hidden long enough. It's time to finish what we started." As Sarah's fingers flew across the screen, uploading decades of secrets, Alex stood guard at the basement door. The sound of footsteps above grew closer. "It's done," Sarah announced, just as the basement door splintered. The basement door burst open, revealing Thompson flanked by heavily armed men. Well, he sneered. "The Mitchell family reunion. How touching." Alex stepped forward, shielding his family. "It's over, Thompson. The evidence is already out." Thompson's smirk faltered for a moment before he regained composure. "You think this changes anything? We own judges, politicians, media outlets. This will be buried before breakfast." Suddenly, all their phones buzzed simultaneously. Sarah glanced at hers, a triumphant smile spreading across her face. "I don't think so. Check your Twitter, Thompson." The room fell silent as everyone, including Thompson, looked at their screens. The hashtag #MitchellConspiracy was trending worldwide, with major news outlets already picking up the story. Thompson's face contorted with rage. He raised his gun, aiming at James. "You ruined everything." What happened next was a blur of motion. Sarah, drawing on her years of training, lunged at Thompson. Alex dove to protect his parents. A shot rang out. When the chaos cleared, Thompson lay disarmed on the ground, Sarah's knee on his back. The armed men, realizing the tide had turned, dropped their weapons. James stood up, holding his arm where a bullet had grazed him. "It's really over," he said in disbelief. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing closer. Marie hugged her children tightly. "I'm so proud of you both. You've grown into incredible people despite everything." As FBI agents flooded the house, the Mitchells stood united for the first time in decades. Alex turned to Sarah. "So, what now?" Sarah smiled, a mix of exhaustion and hope on her face. "Now, we rebuild. Not just the company, but our family." Alex nodded, then addressed the FBI agent in charge. "We'll cooperate fully. But first, I'd like a moment with my family." The agent agreed, leading Thompson and his men away. In the quiet aftermath, the four Mitchells huddled together. James spoke first, his voice thick with emotion. "We have so much to catch up on, so much to explain. And we have a lot to tell you too," Alex replied, looking at Sarah. Sarah took a deep breath. I think I'm ready to be Emma again." As dawn broke over the Oregon coast, the Mitchell family began the long process of healing, knowing that while the road ahead would be challenging, they would face it together. In the months that followed, the Mitchell family's story became a global sensation. The exposure of the vast conspiracy led to high-profile arrests, sweeping reforms, and a renewed public interest in corporate accountability. Alex, with Sarah, now embracing her birth name Emma, by his side worked tirelessly to restructure Mitchell Enterprises. They transformed it into a beacon of ethical business practices, focusing on sustainable development and philanthropic initiatives. The company's new mission: to rebuild the lives of those affected by the decades-long conspiracy. James and Marie Mitchell, no longer in hiding, became advocates for corporate whistleblowers and government transparency. Their experiences shaped new legislation designed to protect those who dared to speak truth to power. Emma found her calling in leading the Mitchell Foundation, dedicating her skills to helping foster children and families affected by corporate fraud. Her journey from Sarah Collins back to Emma Mitchell became a powerful story of resilience and redemption. The siblings' bond, forged in the crucible of crisis, grew stronger with each passing day. They often found themselves working late in the office, reminiscing about their lost years and planning for a brighter future. One evening, as they stood looking out over the New York skyline from the Mitchell Tower, Alex turned to Emma. "You know, when you first came here as Sarah, I never imagined this is where we'd end up." Emma smiled, linking her arm with her brother's. "Life has a funny way of bringing people together, doesn't it?" As the sun set on another day, the Mitchell siblings looked forward to the challenges and triumphs that lay ahead, knowing that together they could face anything. Great. Here's the call to action to wrap up the story. And there you have it, folks, the incredible journey of the Mitchell family. We hope this tale of redemption, family bonds, and fighting for what's right has touched your hearts as much as it has ours. Now, we'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this thrilling story, please hit that subscribe button to stay updated on more exciting content like this. We're also curious, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this story? Drop your rating in the comments below, and don't forget to let us know where you're watching from. Are you cozied up at home in New York like our Mitchell siblings? Or perhaps you're on a beach in Oregon, reminiscing about their final showdown? Wherever you are, we'd love to know. Remember, every story has the power to change perspectives and bring people together. So share this video with someone you think might enjoy it or learn from it. Thank you for joining us on this emotional roller coaster. Until next time, keep believing in the power of truth, family, and second chances.